Hi, my name is Matt Carroll with World Class Coaching with the help of Academy Sports Coach 2024. I want to talk to you today about a session that I've created for working on pressure situations. So what I've been doing with my team is I feel like we're doing all this great stuff. I love the way we're moving off the ball. I think defensively our coordination's awesome. We're doing so many good things. It just comes down to kind of we've lost 3 of our 5 losses have been 1 goal. One was 2 goals. I think no, four were 1, and 1 was 2. So everything is really, really tight, and it just kind of seems like that when it comes down to the wire, we just can't get that final one over the net and over the line. And I think some of it comes down to just it's a pressure situation. It's hard to recreate having pressure on you. It's hard to recreate. It's easy to go and hey, we can score in this situation against your buddies in a practice match when no one's there. A close field. It's easy to do those things in a drill. But when it comes down to there's pressure on, there's people watching, people relying on you, games on the line, the other teams in your ear, their fans are there. It's hard to kind of recreate those situations. So we had a rainy Saturday. I think this is going to be a little unconventional video. It's not going to be something that normally you're going to be able to utilize in your sessions. It just kind of worked for us. But I think it was tough. I don't think the players would say anyway that they had fun. Like it was like the most fun session they've ever had. But I think they enjoyed it, and I think we got a lot out of it, and it created a lot of pressure situations that I think our players needed. So what we started off with here was, and again we have about between 20 and 25 players depending on the day. If we call people from the JV, we have numbers of players that are on the team. So this line would be a lot longer. But essentially what I did was I put my goalie in goal. We only had one that day. And players had to take a PK. Now, while they were taking their PK, everyone else was in line. They would be in a plank position, okay, or push-up position, whatever was more comfortable. They could alternate between it. And basically, so what it did was, if you're not going to go up there and run and take your PK quick, it's going, your buddies are sitting there in plank position for 10, 20 more seconds. Now we're not looking to work on specifically PKs here, so we want players getting up there and taking their PKs, but there also is an element of when you take your PK, how long it takes. The longer it takes, generally, there's studies show that it's more likely you'll miss. So, but the pressure that you run up there, if you got to go quick, you're getting rushed. Your buddies are sitting there yo, please take this PK. And if you make it, everyone gets a 10-second break while the new guy comes up. The next guy gets to run up there. So making your PK gives them relief, and everyone's kind of celebrating. It's all great, and your buddies are, they're no longer in plank position. They're feeling great. If you miss, they have to do 10 pushes. You have to do 10 pushes, and then they stay in plank position. So at one point we had, the pressure was on, and guys kind of got into a mental funk. We had 6 guys miss in a row. Our goalie is very, very good, so it helped with that. And it was some of the guys that maybe don't play as much or aren't forwards and things like that. But it was 6 in a row, and guys were kind of panicking. And 60 push-ups in 3 minutes was a lot for them. You can tone it down if you need to or things like that. The point isn't that it's it's so miserable that they're going to get hurt, but it's something you're recreating pressure. You're recreating that situation. Like your buddies are annoyed. They're not dying or anything like that, but they're annoyed that they're sitting out there in plank position or however it is. Poor guy. We had a guy with a wrist injury that was doing 6 inches off the ground, so he was really feeling it in his core workout. So, but there's a lot of ownership on you. If you don't hit what you need to hit, you're going to, everyone gets punished. And that's kind of the way the game works. We don't score goals, everybody loses. We don't win the game. So from there, we did win the game, spectacular goal. So we had a player that was set up here. I actually set up my goalie here. Oops, I don't want that. I set up my goalie over here to play balls in because I wanted him to work on his distribution as well. And we set up a stick here. And you had 3 seconds to get in the box. And you had a one-time finish out of the air. Now we even get it, like we said, just even if you can get in the goal, no goalie. If it crossed the line, it's a point. But you only have 3 seconds. So again, pressure's on, and you got in there. What goes in the net? Next guy goes up. We didn't keep him in playing position for this one because it was going to take a little longer. But the 3-second timeline made it so that there definitely was this pressure situation. Plus the ball flying out of the air. You're running. You got to pick it out of the air. Scoring in the box. The pressure's already there. But if you missed, everyone did 10 push-ups. So again, it's not one of those things where it's like You don't want guys getting down on each other and fighting with each other over this. You really want to teach as well, like, hey, what happens when you miss? Like, is everyone going to be pissed at you too? Like, is everyone going to be mad that you didn't, do the right thing? You don't want that. So you see when people take penalties and they miss, everyone and daps them up and says, "Hey, it's okay, it's okay." Well, it's all. It's partly for that person that missed, but it's also just for the entire team because you don't want to be thinking if I don't make mine, the same thing's going to happen to me. I'm going to get shunned. I'm going to get yelled at. Guys are going to be mad. You don't want that. You want guys that are, go up there and they're not thinking about that. They're thinking about the PK, not the repercussions of my teammates will be mad at me. So when these guys miss, you do the push-ups, but you want them picking each other up, and you want to make a statement about that as well. So then here we reversed it, and I had my center back kick taker play a ball in. Same thing. If you didn't do the right thing, everyone on the team did push-ups. And it just, again, we can't, it's hard to recreate that kind of pressure. But hey, here, if you don't do your job, everyone suffers. Everyone doesn't get what they want. Everyone wants to not do push-ups. Everyone wants to win games. If we don't do what we need to do, those things don't happen. So here it had to be a one-time clear out of the box from this. Now, sometimes I got lucky. Let's say like it didn't get into the box. I gave them, that person got a break. They got lucky. All right. But if it didn't get cleared first time outside the box, I said, everyone had to do 10 push-ups. Okay. So again, it was just a lot of that like pressure situations. Players had played the game the day before. We needed the rest. Honestly, if we didn't have a game on the following Monday because of our crazy schedule, probably would have given the players off. Really tough game, wet, rained all day, muddy, picking up a couple of injuries here and there. So this was more like, hey, save your legs, but we'll do some physical work. We'll get some mental aspects of it done without running you guys to death. And 3 days. We have 3 games in 4 days because of a oversight by the conference. So in their infinite wisdom, decided to make us play this game despite obviously the health concerns for our players. So we went in here. We did something intense, but intense in a way that's not going to overuse their legs. So again, it's not something you can do as just like a regular Tuesday practice, but it's something that for us was kind of, we had the unique opportunity to do it, and we gave it a shot. So from here, I went and I played. I made them pick teams. I think randomizing it leaves a level of unfairness. Like, oh well, it's just kind of random, and they picked the 2 strikers on the team, and then now they're definitely going to win. So I had 4 players be captains and pick out their the players they wanted, kind of back and forth. And then each team played each other. So we just played. This is another unique wrinkle. We just played. One team had the bigger goals we have, and one team just had pug goals. So there's one. And they played here. Now I set up the goals, and basically I said like, hey, I think too many times also we have situations where it's like, oh, it's the ref's fault, or this bounce, or they got lucky, or that was a foul, or whatever it may be. We kind of find excuses as to why we're losing, which makes us feel good in the moment, but isn't really progressing. We need to kind of get over those things. So I set up the field and I said, play. I mean, obviously, if there's anything too dangerous, stepped in. But they called their own fouls. They decided if they wanted to play to the 18 or play the entire field. They decided what was in and out. One player just kind of kept dribbling on his way out, came in, cut in, scored. And I'm like, well, how are you guys going to react? Because that happens to us in games sometimes. Bad calls happen. How are we going to deal with that? So we're working on that fortitude, that resilience, that ability to come back from failure and still impact the game. And then if there's a tie, the loser or whoever tied, there was repercussions. There's a little bit of extra running in between the things. Nothing crazy, but just enough to make it you don't want to lose. And we played all around. And then at the end of the session, we went back. Now they were tired, and we did the PK shootout again, and we worked on that again and had them. Again, go through all the push-ups, things like that. Can you do it when you're tired? Can you do it at the beginning of practice when you just warmed up, you're fresh? Can you do it at the end of practice when you're exhausted, you've had so much go on, maybe you had to run a couple times because of you lost your small-sided game, whatever it is. But just, again, applying pressure and saying, this is the line. This is the line that's drawn when we win or lose games. You're in that moment, step up, be the hero. We want to teach that concept of like to love winning, hate losing. Continue playing even though things aren't going your way because there's still a chance you can turn this around. And so I thought overall the session went pretty well. I think we got a lot out of it. I think some guys really enjoyed it and stepped up. Again, I wouldn't say it's their favorite practice in the entire world because it was a lot of work. with upper body workouts. Most, I don't think a lot of my guys really appreciated. But again, I think it's what for our team we needed. And I think it's a session that maybe you could utilize at the higher levels, like high school level, as kind of a day off kind of day, but still getting a lot of physical work in and a lot of mental work in. So I'd love to hear some of the unique sessions you guys do when you have this kind of time to not do a true training session. I know with clubs sometimes it's either so limited time, you're only a couple days a week. With high school, we just play, and we have so many games in a week and things like that. We get days like this where it's, we want them in, we want to be doing something. We really didn't have film to watch. We usually would have watched film. Maybe do a team bonding thing. We had 2 pasta parties that week, so it was kind of a unique opportunity for us to try this out. So I'd love to hear some of the things you guys do when you have these opportunities. So once again, my name is Matt Carroll, World Class Coaching, and with the help of Academy Sports Coach 2024, I hope this session finds you well.